today?
Pardon?
What's dance music style was you doing today, genre?
More twerking, so like hip hop music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
went down nice.
Yeah.
And you
You,
look lovely as well.
thank you. I just feel a bit, because I was rushing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm from the UK. We're here. We're both from the UK. Me and Tanika, we're both from the UK.
Thank you.
Yeah. So today we've got Tanika. We're here to talk about self-love, the importance of self-love. So Tanika, she's a dancer and she's also a self-love coach. So let us know about your journey, your self-love journey and what you do and everything like that.
So I started my self-love journey about 4 to 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was just in a place where I just felt like, who am I? I felt like I wasn't fully connected with myself. You could say I felt lost as well.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I had to choose loving myself more than any other toxic attachments or anything that was going on in my life. I had to choose to love myself first. And that's when
Yeah.
it all started, really. I literally was going through depression as well. But at the time, I didn't know I was depressed. So yeah, I just felt like I didn't want to do anything. I was in bed every day. My friends would come around and be like, come, let's do this, let's do that. Didn't really want to do it. The only thing I had time and energy for was my son and partying. Anything else, even then, I wouldn't say I was the best mum I am now. I was not the best mum. But my son kept me going. Like that thought of you've got a child, like you need to sort it out was there. But at the same time, I didn't know I was actually depressed. I just thought I was going through this time in life where I just couldn't be bothered. Obviously, now looking at it, it's like, how could you not know? But I wasn't educated on it. Like in the Black community, depression is not something that's like spoken about. Like I remember my mom telling me that she told her mom she was depressed, and her mom was just like, "You're not depressed." Like it's kind of just like, what is that? Do you know what I mean? So I was going through depression and I cut all my hair off, looked in the mirror, didn't regret it as I was doing it. As I was doing it, I just was like, And then after I was like, what did I do? Started crying. And then, the journey started from there because that's when I went inwards and I started to look at myself from within. And then it became an outward journey. So that's where it started.
So it was like your realization that you was depressed, like after with the hair, like what was your realization? Was it from when you cut your hair off and you kind of thought like, what have I done sort of thing?
Kind of, that was like a wake-up call. And like I was drinking Magnums every day. It was just a mess, like going partying all the time. Like, certain toxic repetitive patterns that I was taking up to almost like distract myself from what was really going on within myself. But cutting off my hair was definitely like a wake-up call. Like, okay, something's not adding up here.
What would you say, because I think self-love, there's a lot of things to it. What would you just say, like on the whole, what is the definition of self-love?
The definition of self-love is the definition. I would say the definition of self-love is choosing you so that you can choose others. I don't know if that makes sense, But what I mean by that is choosing yourself, so choosing to love yourself and honor yourself and take care of yourself so that you are a better you for yourself and everyone else.
Yeah, I understand that.
Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, whether we like to admit it or not. Whether you've got one person you care about or you got 20 or you got thousands, we're all in this together. And if you're showing up as the best version of yourself, then ultimately it helps everyone else.
Definitely, because you literally affect the people around you. Like you said, we're all connected, and even just like even just relationships between everyone, whether it's your son, your mother, your friends. even you as a dancer, you teachers, reaching different people, like, yeah, we're literally all connected and we all affect each other. So yeah, that does. I understand. I hope everyone else understands that as well.
There's so much
Tell us
things I
about
could say, but that's what came to me.
yeah. Go. What more could you say? Say it. Say it.
The definition of self-love. The definition of
It's quite
self-love.
broad.
It is very broad. I said choosing yourself so that you choose others. Protecting your energy.
Yeah.
I think it's more than just the statement, I love myself. It has to be back to it, okay, how do you love yourself? What do you do to show that you love yourself? Does that make sense?
Like the action behind it.
Yeah, it's an action. It's not just I love me. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, what do you do to love you? Do you eat healthy?
Yeah.
Do you exercise? Do you talk nicely to yourself? Do you use affirmations? Do you speak nicely about others? Because what you say about others ultimately reflects yourself anyway. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I say, do you know what I mean a lot, by the way, just to warn everyone.
Yeah. What you're saying about how you speak about others reflects how you think about yourself. That is quite important as well.
Because everyone's a reflection of you.
It's a reflection of your mindset as well, how you think.
100%.
Yeah, because a situation could happen and everyone sees it from a different angle. So if you're looking at things from like a negative all the time, it's you literally reflecting how you think as well.
And then that's what you're going to keep attracting to you, is more negative situations.
Yeah. So tell us about your coaching. How did you start? What made you start your coaching journey? And what's like a result that you've had with a client where you've seen that they've like along their self-love journey as well?
So when it comes to coaching, I started that last year. I did a course last year. I started that because when I teach dance, I also teach people affirmations and how to do like a quick meditation and like, because I do twerking and whining, for those who didn't know, that's all about having the confidence and just, even if you don't have the confidence, allowing it to slowly but surely come out of its shell and, you know, just unapologetically loving yourself, being yourself, enjoying your body, enjoying your movement. So with that, it's like, and even how I am as a friend, how I am as a person, I'm quite positive with my friends, and I'm the friend that will be like, you're amazing, you can do this. Like, I'm quite, you know, uplifting. So I feel like it's something that was always within me to do. So when I saw the course advertised, I was like, yeah, that's I'm ready for that. And then I did it, and I was even doing life coaching at the time. So I was actually a life coach client, not an instructor. And I was like seeing the benefits of what life coaching was doing for me. So I was like, wow, if this can work for me, then self-love coaching is something that can definitely work for so many women. And then, so I did some consultations, and then I took on a client, and the benefits that she received from it is the fact that her mindset became more open. So whereas before she was seeing it as like a narrow road of like, oh, this is how I'm thinking and feeling, this is what I'm doing. And then I came in and I showed her, for example, one example is she had lots of tabs on her phone. Like, I think she had over 100 tabs open on her phone. And we're talking about everything. And then we're talking about her life. And she's telling me like she feels sometimes a bit all over the place. And then I can't remember how we got onto the topic of the tabs on her phone. But she said to me, like, she's like, yeah, and I got like 100 tabs open on my phone. And I said to her, slowly but surely, go through all of them tabs and delete them one by one. That was basically her homework for 1 week. And she came back, she had done that. And I said, how do you feel? And she was like, my mind feels so much more clear. And I was like, do you see how a simple thing, like closing the tabs on your phone, can correlate into your mind? And she was like, I didn't ever look at it like that. Da, 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 da. So I just found that a lot of stuff we was working on, she saw that it reflected what she could do in her life as well. And I know something as simple as closing the tabs on your phone, what's that got to do with self-love? But obviously, like, looking after your mental state and making sure you don't feel all over the place is very key when it comes to loving yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like, did she see it as more being like very like messy? So she had like a messy mindset, or just like very full, very,
I
very
think a bit
full?
of both, because then the following week she was like, yeah, I got a shoe rack for my room, I've organized my shoes, my room's not so cluttered. Like slowly but surely things started to open up, and it's like, because we're working on what's going on within, it's like her outside environment started to change as well and get a bit better for her.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
I
like
think,
sorry, go on.
sorry, no, cool. Now I was gonna say what you just said, because I've heard loads of times, and something I speak about as well, is just like a lot of people let their environment control them, where like you internally supposed to let your environment, you're supposed to control your environment. So just you said what you did with the coaching, because you got her to start working on her mindset. You said she started to structure her environment. So yeah, that's quite powerful.
It is. And for me, like even me as a person, when my room is messy or my house is messy, I feel like my whole life is falling apart. And then I tidy up and I'm like, oh my gosh, my life is so great. It's weird how like certain things can make such a big difference. And it's also the same with what you're eating. So it's like, I can't say, oh yeah, I'm on this self-love journey, but I'm still making the same choices that I was when I was in like year 9 in secondary school, eating sweets every single day. I can't. Like, as much as I'd love to, again, and me choosing to love myself is choosing to eat healthy and even be mindful of the stuff that I'm watching on the TV or in general. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand what you mean. Definitely the food thing, but I think even more importantly, like what you're watching, because I think a lot of people know that you have to try and eat healthy because it does, but just like what you're taking in, like even down to like the music that I might listen to, and then certain TV programs where I've been on like my own journey for like self-mastery and stuff like that. I find that I can't watch certain programs, or like, you know, programs which are very violent and stuff like that. I find that it really kind of affects me how it wouldn't have before. I just went blank. It really affects me how it wouldn't have before, or I just don't want to deal with it at all. So yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
can't. Them violent shows, I don't know how people do it. Sometimes I'm just like, it's like I get affected and I'm not even in the film or show. I can look at something on TV and start crying. And it's like, but it's not your life. But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying.
Do you feel like that's because you've come more into alignment with yourself, that it's made you quite sensitive to like everything that's around you?
This is the thing, because I question myself, because like, for example, I might see a dog being rescued on Instagram and then I'm like, oh my God, this is so emotional. But then in my everyday life, if someone tries it with me, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, it's weird. It's weird. I would say I'm an empath though, like 100%. So I definitely do take on other people's emotions. And that's something that happened whilst I was depressed. And it was I really had to work through that, so that I just saw what was happening, but didn't take it in. Like I just looked at it. Okay, this is what's happening, but I didn't take it in. So I think the moments when I'm watching something and it does trigger me, I think it's because I'm in a moment where my wall is not completely up. I'm quite relaxed and, you know, but I would not say that I'm quite sensitive, no.
Yeah. What were you saying about taking on other people's energy? Like, how important, if someone who wants to build up their self-love, how important is it for them to make sure that they have the right people around them?
Oh, it's like, it's so important that if you don't have the right people around you, the journey is either going to be harder or it's just not going to work out. Because I couldn't imagine what my journey would be like if I had the wrong people around me. That's why solitude is definitely another part of self-love. Like choosing to be by yourself, choosing to be in your own company. If you can't be in your own company because you don't want to be alone, then you've got some serious issues to work through. Being in solitude and being in your own company is so key to self-love. That's how you really get to know yourself. So yeah, being around the right people can literally either boost up your experience or tear it all the way down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Have you, like, was there a time in your life where you had someone around in your life that wasn't good for you, and then, I don't know, if you, like, with going on your self-love journey, that you chose to not, like, have them in your life, and, like, did it make your journey a lot easier?
Sorry, let me close the window. Sorry, 1 second. That whole train came, I couldn't hear nothing. So sorry, what was you saying?
I was saying, was there a time in your life where you had, like, the wrong person around you, which was affecting your growth? And I was like, if you did let them go or remove them from your life, how did it help your life and, like, your self-love journey?
Oh yeah, I definitely did. Definitely did. And it helped my self-love journey because I stopped focusing on them and I focused on myself.
Yeah.
Because now I realize, wow, like, my energy and my focus is so powerful, it's so amazing, like, it's beautiful to have. And when you're giving it and not giving enough to yourself, you're starving yourself from your own excellence. So if you're a person who sees, like, raw, like, these people have got me in their life, or this person's got me in their life, and with me in their life, it's not better, because everyone's different. You can't, I don't think I'm better than anyone else. But if you can see, like, when you're in someone's life, they benefit from you being there, and then you take yourself away and give yourself that benefit, oh my gosh, the growth is sweet. It's not easy, but the growth is sweet. Like, you water your own garden instead of pouring out half of your water tank to go to theirs, when really you need it. Do you know what I mean? Especially if they're not the right person to be giving it to. It's like you're wasting your water, because they're just taking it all, not watering you back, and then you have to water yourself and them.
Yeah.
Is that a good explanation?
Yeah, I understand. Like, well, there's been different times, but definitely along my journey, I just like to help people. I don't know what it is that I always find people to, like, come into my life that, like, need my help, but then I end up trying to help them, and then I feel like it starts to make me feel kind of just, just not feel right. Like, my energy, because I kind of absorb a lot of people's energies as well, sort of thing. So I noticed not so long ago, but it's like I had someone around me, and I just felt like they were very, like, negative, always kind of, like, in some drama and stuff like that, and I just felt very, like, when I left them, like, my head just felt very full, sort of thing. And then it came to a point where I was around them so much, even though I was close to them, it's just I ended up getting caught into that drama, which I'm not ever in drama, but because I was around that person, even though I was trying to help them, then I got sucked into that, and I had to make that choice to remove them out of my life. And I found that I was a lot more focused and a lot happier, and I just felt light. So even though they were a really lovely person, like, if I needed their help, they'd be there for me and stuff like that. They had, like, good, well, apart from when they're in their dramas, they had a nice person to be around. I had to make that choice because I saw how it was affecting me.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that light feeling that you get. It's almost like sometimes someone that's in your life that's not good for you can drain your energy, and then when they're not there, that lightness and that recharge that you get, so beautiful. It's so amazing, and it's so needed, especially after you've been drained. And that recharge and that lightness you get, ultimately you gave it to yourself. So yeah, it's amazing.
I did. It was good. It was very, very good. It was very good, and definitely your surroundings, the people you surround yourself with, that kind of, if you're around them, you're gonna become like them. So you have to know when to exit
Definitely.
Life does the shift in the wrong way.
Definitely.
Yeah. You were saying that you talked about manifestation, you talked about a bit about diet. What other things do you help with within your coaching? What other things do you help people with on the self-love journey?
I help them with self-forgiveness, self-acceptance, self-gratitude, self-trust, self-care, their shadow self, manifestation, eating. We could either go down the spiritual road and talk about the cycles of the moon. There's so many different topics. What else is there? Yeah, that's quite a long list I gave. That's like the main bulk.
Yeah. So, explain like the self-acceptance and forgiveness.
Okay, so self-forgiveness, it's like, I would say it's like the first step of self-love, because it's like the forgiveness washes away any past choices you've made, any mistakes you've made, just anything that you need to release in order to really start the journey honestly and openly with yourself. And ultimately, if you can't forgive yourself, then how can you expect yourself to forgive anyone else? So self-forgiveness is all about looking at your past, and instead of looking at it like it's the enemy, look at it as it's the teacher that brought you to where you are right now. And thank yourself for making certain choices, because at that moment in time, you did what you felt was best for you. And just honoring what you've been through, who you are, and the fact that it's taking you to this moment that you are in right now. And just saying to yourself, like, I forgive you for making these choices, and then just kind of closing the book and moving forward so that you feel refreshed and not so, I don't know, like you're carrying the extra weight anymore. Like, let the extra weight go. It's fine. It's okay. We can't dwell on it. We're just going to keep moving forward. That's what self-forgiveness in a nutshell is, basically.
Is there like a technique to helping someone actually start to forgive their past mistakes and themselves for the bits that they're not happy about in their life?
Yes, so you could even write a letter to your past self, and that's what I go through with my clients when we do coaching. So you'll write like, dear past self, I forgive you for being afraid. I forgive you for not choosing yourself. I forgive you for speaking negatively about yourself, wherever the situation is. Dear past self, I forgive you for A, B, C, and D. I understand why you made those choices. I now know better, and I choose to do better. Thank you. So basically just a letter to your past self, forgiving yourself, so that you can write it out, feel it. And I see writing, when you write in a journal, I see it as a really great form of releasing emotion and just releasing anything that you feel, any energy, onto that page. You can burn it after if you want, you can fold it up and keep it, or whatever you want to do with it to release the energy. And yes, that's a technique you can use to forgive yourself.
Because you said that's step one, so what would be step two then?
Self-acceptance.
Is there like an order in how you, so there's like an order in how you do it? So you got the self-acceptance now, so how's that? So you got the forgiveness, then then the acceptance, so how does that play out then after the forgiveness?
So you've done the forgiveness, you're feeling a bit lighter now, and then you're going to accept yourself for who you are. So, but with that, you're also going to think about and decide what you're no longer accepting and who you want to be. So, for example, self-acceptance could be, I accept that I'm funny, I'm kind, I'm caring, I'm so forth and so forth. And then I am no longer accepting that I am lazy, I am boring, I am, and then we would write out, I am accepting that I am motivated, fun, and that's called cognitive flexibility. And it's where you flip it on its head and you take it from a negative viewpoint and change it into something that's more positive. So it's, I'm no longer accepting that I am lazy. I am accepting that I am motivated and fun. Because what you tell yourself, what you believe you are, is what you are, ultimately.
Yeah.
If I keep telling myself I'm lazy, that's all I'm going to create for myself.
Yeah.
So that's what self-acceptance is. Accepting the things that you love about yourself, and then changing, starting with the mind, the things that you're no longer accepting of yourself and what you want to be.
Yeah, yeah. Is that the way it sounds as well, is that a bit like not exactly, but it sounds like they're kind of like, it's like a bit of like affirmations as well within it.
Yeah, there's 100%.
And they would like, is that a thing that they have to keep like reciting to themselves and like programming the brain to just be like,
Yeah, because it's, well, you don't have to sit there and say, okay, today I'm going to read out what I accept about myself and what I don't. It's more of a thing where it's like, when you feel like, okay, today I'm struggling with my acceptance and I'm struggling with releasing what I currently think about myself, then I would say, okay, revisit what we've done, say out loud how you're feeling about what you're no longer accepting, what you're now accepting. But self-love ultimately is a process, it's a journey. It doesn't ever stop when we actually think about it. We grow, we change, we evolve. And you could say over time, it does get easier to know, okay, well, right now I need to just say an affirmation. But when you're starting out, it's not as easy as that. Sometimes it can get a bit, what's the word? Not repetitive, but just, I don't know. You have to tell yourself, like, I'm going to do this and I need to be ready for when that next time comes. Okay, what am I going to do to get myself out of this funk or out of this low feeling?
Yeah. But how do they build that trust within themselves and like trust their, say, like gut feeling or intuition that they're actually going to be able to make that change on their self-love journey and
Well,
create the type of life that they want?
I think them choosing within themselves, first of all, to come to me for their help, is them already making that commitment to themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's not free. You're coming to meet me every week. So that within itself, you're already making that choice to make that commitment. You're investing in yourself ultimately. So yeah. And they can also always contact me if they need like my advice, my support, they have a question. So it's definitely something that comes with practice and patience and repetition.
All right. I want to go back. You said something earlier about being happy, being able to be by yourself. You was talking about solitude. So it just made me think about the pandemic and the time that we're in. Like, how do you feel like the pandemic's affecting how people feel about themselves? And how do you feel like people can use this time, because a lot of people are by themselves as well, to try and better themselves and build their self-love?
So what was the first question? How people feel? How do I think people are feeling during the pandemic?
Yeah, how do you during this pandemic, how do you feel it's affecting how people feel about themselves with everything going on?
I feel like the most common thing I'm hearing right now is that people are putting on weight. People are getting bored. People are feeling lazy. People are feeling unmotivated and just ultimately fed up.
Yeah.
That's the most common thing I'm hearing right now. And what was the second part to your question?
And I was saying, how can they, because you were saying, like, how can they use this time? Because a lot of people are by themselves to kind of just have that growth, build up their self-love, come out of that cycle of like the things that you've just said that they're feeling. How can they break out of that? And what can they start doing to make themselves feel better?
Okay, so one thing I definitely recommend is journaling. And writing down how I felt, writing down my emotions, what was going through my mind, definitely has helped me. It just allows you to take that moment to pause. And again, like I said earlier, I find writing things out is a form of release. So yeah, doing that, I would definitely say watching YouTube videos, like motivating YouTube videos. even if at the moment in time you don't feel like, right, I'm going to start a business because I watched one YouTube motivating video, but it's just like getting the brain, you know, engaged in something that's a bit, you know,
yeah.
I definitely recommend that. That's something I continuously did whilst I was depressed. And as much as I didn't act on it straight away, it definitely helped me because I learned things whilst I was just doing nothing.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. People are saying that they're bored, they're not really doing anything. So at least put some stuff in your, like, feed your brain. Do you know what I mean? Whilst you don't feel like you're not doing anything. Find a hobby. I think that's something that everyone says when you're feeling like, what should I do? But we've been in this lockdown for a long time now. So, you know, finding a hobby is a bit, it's not impossible. Meditation, 100%. But guided meditations, for people that have never done meditation before, put the ones on where that person's speaking to you and they tell you what to do, so you don't feel lost and you just go with the flow. And I guarantee you, if you do it and put energy into it, you will open your eyes feeling great.
Yeah. How does the meditation like help you? How has that changed and impacted your life?
I'm going to be 100% honest. Meditation has allowed me to take myself from here into wherever I want to be. For example, the other day, I took me and my 3 friends to a waterfall in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And then when we opened our eyes, I was like, how was that, guys? They were telling me I got my foot stuck on the rock. There was people behind me telling me to hurry up. Like, the fact that they were so engraved into it and it actually felt like they went somewhere, they opened their eyes feeling like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I was just like, yes. And like, I've done it before by myself, but to do it with others and see like the benefits was really nice. So yeah, meditation has allowed me to not feel so, I'm stuck in this house. Like, yes, Angia. Like, I'm stuck in this house. Like, it allows you to take yourself away, even if it's just for a moment. We all know it's not 100% real, but it gives you that hope, you know, it gives you that spark. And it allows me to calm down and clear my mind and not be so anxious. I wouldn't say I'm a very anxious person, but I have my moments like we all do. I'm a mum as well. So meditating definitely allows me to just take a breather. And then when I open my eyes again, things don't feel as hectic as they did before.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know, you were saying that you was able to, like, in your mind, travel to Jamaica? Would you say that's more based on your belief system as for why it's working? Like, for someone who's kind of new to meditation or doesn't quite believe in it, or, you know, is very new to it, they don't know about it, are they going to get that same result?
If you go into anything in life without the belief, no, you're not. I honestly believe that. Like, you see in like the Disney films and stuff where they show like magic and stuff and they're like, oh, if you don't believe, it won't happen. I think that is definitely real. Like, if you go into meditation and you just think this is pointless and it's not going to benefit me, then you're going to get those results. Like, anything you think and believe is what you'll get. So but someone who has never done it before, doesn't really understand it, but they want to achieve something with it, they definitely will. After a few times, I'm not going to say that after the first time they're going to be like, oh, wow, that was incredible. But it definitely took me a few times, just because I was one of them people who just thought, oh, like, my mind doesn't sharp, like, I can't meditate. And then I stopped saying to myself, I can't meditate, and just like started to go with it. And then I watched a YouTube video and this man was basically like, it's a myth when they say that you're meant to meditate and your mind's meant to be quiet and empty. Because that's what I thought. I thought it was like Buddhas and like gurus sitting down and nothing's going through their mind and they're just, I don't know. But when I realized that, and I just took myself through my own meditation and said, okay, your thoughts can still go by, but just don't take any one thought and start to focus on it. Just let them all do their thing and just focus on your breathing and just relax. Sorry. When I kept doing that, I realized, okay, like, this isn't some faraway thing that is unattainable. It just takes that practice of being still and allowing yourself to breathe and, you know, going within.
Now, do you know, when you said about your mind not being completely blank, that's definitely, I thought your mind was supposed to be completely blank as well. And
Yeah.
I was like, because I kind of used the meditation just for creating the reality that I want, so just for manifesting.
Visualization.
Also, yeah, the visualizations, just getting present, because again, when you're worrying about the past, that's when you start to feel depressed, and then the anxiety is when you're worried about the future. So it's just getting grounded into the now. But I do use it for a lot of just for manifesting the visualizations, just changing my state of emotions and everything like that. And I find that it does work. I do find, because sometimes I'll do the meditation for like 45 minutes to an hour, but I do find if my head's everywhere, I find it really hard to stay for that long. Where I find like a shorter, like a 15-minute meditation works better for me. So it kind of depends on how my day's going or how I'm feeling that day. But yeah, for when I first started doing it, I was like, well, I'm still thinking about this and that. Sort of there's still thoughts coming into my mind. And then it was a person that I bought a program from. I don't know if you've heard of a guy called Peter Sage. So he
I think so.
Peter Sage. So it was him that said what you just said about it's okay for thoughts to still come into your mind.
Is he on
But,
YouTube?
yeah, he's on YouTube as well, and he's a coach, so he deals with like self mastery. And
I think we're probably talking about the same person. Does he get a lot of views?
do you know what? I did it because I do a lot of like webinars. So I was on a webinar called there by Real Success Summit. Check them out, because sometimes they have a whole weekend. I'm meaning Friday to Sunday, 30 hours, so it's like 10 hours a day, and I'll be on there.
Wow.
learning.
Yeah.
So he's been on there. Peter Sage's been on there, and then I bought his program. So and it's a year's program for self mastery. So I started that about 7 weeks ago. So that's been good. That's been good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so definitely, check him out. He's on YouTube as well.
Yeah, we'll do.
I'm doing the program.
But yeah, it's the Sage that sounds familiar.
Maybe because he literally, the way you said it, he definitely said it exactly the same.
Yeah.
And, I was thinking it, and then you said it like 20 seconds later.
Can I just plug my phone in quickly? 1 second, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's all up in my face now.
You good?
Almost. It's because I got it on the stand, so it needs to be brought down. Okie dokie. There we have it. Yeah.
Yeah? You good?
Yeah.
No. How would you, what kind of tips would you give people for trying to manage their emotions? So like when something isn't going to plan, what's your thought process, and how do you manage your emotions so you don't, go?
When something's not going to plan, I find things that I'm grateful for in that moment.
Yeah.
If I'm rushing around and it's like one of my shoes is broken, I don't know, there's no umbrella and it's raining, my hair's a mess, like that kind of scenario, I find that taking a moment to breathe first, breathing is like the key to so much. Taking a moment to breathe, and then I stop rushing, because I find that the rushing makes more things go wrong. And then I take my time and I just go with one thing at a time and get it done. And I make sure that each movement I'm making and every action I'm doing is effective.
Yeah.
That would be an example for like if I'm rushing around and things not going right. And then I'd just be like, you know what? It's not going how I wanted it to go, or it's not going to plan. But I'm grateful that I'm alive this morning. I'm grateful that I just had my breakfast. I'm grateful that I have a home. And I find that instead of writing off the day and saying, oh, this day's rubbish, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'll say to myself, I'm grateful for this day. Like, things
Yeah.
can't always go to plan. As much as we might want it to, it can't. And I've read a post the other day, and it was like, we have something like 8,000 something or 86,000 minutes or seconds in a day. I think it was seconds. And it was like, why allow 10 seconds of those days, of that day, to ruin the whole entire day? And ever since reading that, I'm just like, it's so true. And I've always found that whenever I'm in a situation that's not how I want it to go, when I react with that same energy of, oh, this and oh, that combative energy, I don't get positive results.
Yeah.
But then when I face it with the energy of, this is going to be okay, I'm going to do this no matter what. It might not be going right now, but sometimes I even think maybe this is God making things go the wrong turn, because maybe I'm not meant to leave the house today, or maybe I'm not meant to go to that place, or maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe there's people, I'm not meant to be around those people. Sometimes things happen, and for us it looks like it's a closed door, but really it's God protecting you.
Yeah.
So there's many ways that I look at different scenarios, but I definitely find that staying positive, I get better results from a negative situation.
Yeah. I was going to ask, something continuous, just say like the pandemic that we're in, where people, so some people have lost loved ones, or people of their jobs and everything like that, and just feeling completely stuck. I know you gave the example of like if your day's not going right, but if you think about the pandemic, we've been in it for a long time. How can they manage their emotions for something that's for like a long period of time?
It's a good question. I would literally say, take it as it comes. Like, because as much as I'm all about being on a self-love journey and being positive, when I feel like rubbish and when I'm sad, I have to honor that feeling. Like, it has to just be like, but I think it's about how long I let the sadness and the upset stay for. But in regards to managing your emotions, that's when I would use the technique of treating myself like I would a friend. Personally, I would say journaling, or even just talk to yourself. Like, talking to myself really helps. Like, the same way I might call a friend and be like, oh, hi babe, I'm feeling like this. Or I might not call a friend, I might just talk to myself and be like, how are you feeling, Tanika? Okay, you're feeling sad. Okay, why are you feeling sad? And just dive deep with yourself. Especially if you're someone that doesn't like to express your emotions to others. But also, don't beat yourself up about feeling sad, about feeling low, about any negative emotions you're feeling, because we're in a pandemic. We've never been in anything like this before. So it's kind of like I would manage my emotions, or tell others to manage their emotions, as to honor them as they come along. And you can even have gratitude for the fact that you feel. Do you know what I mean? Like, it sounds all fairy tale and just dusty and like positive vibes. And I don't know, some people might even say it's a bit of toxic positivity, but you know, it works for me. So I'm not being funny, but I'd rather try and find the positive way out of any situation than the negative. I've tried the negative. I've been there. I've been the angry girl. I've been the negative girl. It didn't serve me. Everyone's different. For some people, it's like, I've got to be in this negative emotion. I've got to, you know, that's fine. You do you, but just not around me. Do you know what I mean?
So
do you know sorry, in a nutshell, I would say manage your emotions by allowing them to be what they are. But then when you feel like, okay, I've been in this for too long, switch it up a bit, you know?
What would you say is too long? That's what I was going to ask before you decide if you're in, like you said about accepting that you might not feel that great, but what's too long to a point where you actually can't get yourself out of that cycle? So how long would you say to give yourself before you say, all right, now I need to move forward?
I think it depends on the emotion, the situation, why you're feeling how you are. Because obviously people have lost loved ones in this pandemic, and it's like, I'm not here to tell anyone they got 5 days to be upset about anyone of their loved ones passing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it definitely depends on the unique situation. But if it's a thing where it's like, I'm just feeling a bit low, I don't know. Everyone's different. So some people might allow themselves to feel low for 20 minutes. Some people might allow themselves to feel low for a week.
Yeah.
Me personally, when I feel low, it could last a couple hours. But then I'll always find something to just pick my energy back up again.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I have to. It's like I just can't stay in a rut for too long. It's like I feel like I've got too much to lose. I've built up too much for myself, within myself. I've got my son counting on me. Like, I can't afford to stay in a rut for days on end, because as far as I see it, that's me literally walking towards depression. Like, I'm on my way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I would not allow myself to stay in a rut for no longer than a couple hours. Unless it's like a devastating situation has happened, then, you know, that's kind of out of my control, depending on what the situation is.
Yeah. What advice can you give to, obviously, you being a mother and stuff, like any like parent who's suffering with like a lack of self-love? Like, how do you know that to, like, how does that affect a child, and what's the importance of them finding their self-love to help support just themselves and help to be a better parent? Just because you were saying as well that the people around you affect your energy. What's the best advice you can give them for that?
So for a parent that, say that again, sorry, the best advice for a parent.
Yeah, who's lacking in self-love, like how does that affect the child?
Okay.
Or the kids? Yeah.
So a parent lacking self-love can affect the child, because then in turn, the child won't know how to love themselves, or what it looks like, or what it feels like to love themselves. And if a parent doesn't love themselves, then they're going to show their child certain behaviors and ways to be that don't reflect them loving themselves. And then it can turn into toxic behaviors. It can turn into toxic patterns. And I think if I didn't love myself, I wouldn't be able to teach my son, like, you are amazing, you are a great person, you are this. I wouldn't be able to tell him these positive affirmations, because I don't believe them about myself. And he will see that. You know, children pick up on energy, and children, they know when someone's about their talk. So I could be like, you're amazing, and he could turn around and be like, no, I'm not, I'm rubbish. But then that's because that's what he see me say about myself. Do you know what I mean? So kids pick up what they see, and a parent who has a lack of self-love, the child would definitely pick up on that, and it will reflect in the child's behavior. So
what's some of the positive results you've had with your son? Just because, you know, I'm going to send you a picture later on. I came into the living room yesterday and my son was meditating. He had the music on, he was meditating. So I do like a lot of affirmations with him, and I do a lot of visualizations with him and stuff like that. So he's definitely, I've seen a big change in how, because I say he's got like very low self-esteem, but so I have to keep up with him, and I've definitely seen a change in him. And now he's able to recite the affirmations without me guiding him with it. And he's getting very creative, and he's using big words that I don't even use around him. So he's just absorbing something.
That's amazing.
Yeah, what's some of the, because I know obviously you did a meditation and the self-love, like, and your son's around you all the time. What kind of like positive results have you seen within him, or positive habits has he picked up?
Definitely meditation as well. At first he was not for it. He's a very excited child, so like literally right now he's doing cartwheels. He should be in his bed, because I've been busy. I said to him, "Can stay up." Yeah, he's very active. So at first meditating for him was like, how do I sit still, cross my legs, keep like close my eyes? Like, it was just like, what, mummy? But now, literally the other day, he was with his uncle and they were meditating, and then my brother called me and he was like, Tanika, like, Zayn just did a meditation with me, and he was saying so much stuff. He was saying stuff like he's been here before and he's wise before his time. And I was like, what was he saying? What was he saying? He was like, I can't even recite it. He was like, it was just an in the moment thing. that's one thing I've noticed. And then he done it with me the other day, and I think because I was excited based on what my brother said, he didn't like really know how to do it again. He was just like, "Mommy, it's not now. It's like an in the moment thing." And I was like, "Okay." So yeah, there's that. And like, I've noticed that he's appreciative of things, and like he knows to say like, "I'm grateful for my life." He knows how to use affirmations. And for example, like he might get a gift and he might not really like the gift, but he would say like, "I'm grateful for this gift. I appreciate the gift that this person's given me." And like I'll be in my room doing stuff or in the living room, and he'll just shout, "Mummy." I'll be like, "Yeah." He'll be like, "I love you." "I love you too." Whereas growing up, me and my mum didn't really do that with each other. We love each other to bits, but it's just not something that we did in our household. Not till I got older, I started to say like, "Mum, I love you." She'd be like, "I love you too." Like, and now it's a thing. But growing up, that wasn't really a thing. Even though she did love me, I didn't ever question it. That whole back and forth, I love you was just not there. So I see a lot of it in my son, and it does make me proud.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Is there any books or I know you did a meditation, was there any like books or people that you listen to that would be good for other people to listen to just to help with self-love?
Personally, I love the book The Power of Now.
Yeah.
I think that's by a person called Eckhart Tolle. I don't even know if I'm saying their name right. I might be saying it completely wrong. But the book The Power of Now, that was amazing because it allows you to focus on this moment right here, not next week, not tomorrow, not last week, not yesterday, right now, and how much power you have in this current moment and what you can do for yourself in this current moment. I want to read that book continuously throughout my life, to be honest. When it comes to self-love and books, I can't say I've read any self-love books. I personally just see it as when you read books that are to help your mind grow and to help you learn and develop, that's what I would say to recommend for a book if you want to love yourself. Like maybe a book on mindfulness, a book on wellness, even a book in general, even if it's your favorite type of book, like reading is a great thing to do. So I'd say whatever you enjoy, read it, especially self-development books. And then, go from there.
I think it's the self-love it's so broad. It is literally so broad. So like you said, everything that you do which is positive contributes to the self-love.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Now that but how can people get in contact with you and everything?
They can DM me on either vibes_fitnight, so this page here, or my more personal page, Tanika Briggs _ just send me a DM. That's it really. I'm currently doing consultations where we'll talk through what's going on with the person right now, how they're feeling, what they want to work on in regards to self-love. And then from there, I have either a 1-month program where we go through like the self-love roadmap, which is self-forgiveness, self-acceptance, self-gratitude, self-care, and self-trust. So like the 5 main steps. That's the 1-month program. Or I have a 3-month program where we go deep and dive deep, and we include the 5 steps plus manifestation plus mindset plus goal setting, all of the extra bits, shadow work, and that's for 3 months.
What is shadow? You spoke to shadow self. What is that?
So shadow work is when you look at the side of yourself that you don't really want to accept but is definitely there. Or you might not even know it's there, but it comes out. So for example, the best way to find your shadow self is to look at things that annoy you about someone else. And then say to you, like, you have to like really ask yourself, why does this annoy me about this person? And then look at yourself and say, is it because this person's confident and I'm not? Is it because this person is living their truth and I'm not? What is it that's annoying me within that person that's making me feel a certain way about myself, and why? And then when you dive into that, that's you looking at the side of yourself that is not, you're not going to broadcast to everyone. So for example, people might have jealous tendencies, people might have greedy tendencies, people might have all different type of tendencies that are ultimately within them, because we're made of both light and dark. No one is 100% positive and perfect and just walking around like a daisy. We all have a positive side to ourselves and a more negative side to ourselves. So the shadow work is looking at the more negative aspects of yourself, facing it, and saying, okay, how can I improve this? How can I transmute it? How can I, it's hard to say the word change it, because you are who you are. And like I said, it's about balance between the light and dark. No one is going to be 100% pure, and, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just about looking at your shadow self and improving it, and at least acknowledging that it's there, because some people do not acknowledge their shadow self.
Yeah. Is that part of self-acceptance as well then? Acknowledging yourself, is that different?
It could be, because the word self-acceptance is quite broad. You could say, yeah, but obviously when I do my courses, I wouldn't start talking about shadow work straight away when it comes to self-acceptance, because we want to get, I want to get my clients into that feeling of loving themselves and, you know, being open to complimenting themselves, because people are very quick to compliment others, but people don't always compliment themselves. I think nowadays it's more common, but I definitely think that it's way easier for people to compliment other people than it is for them to compliment themselves. And then they write down, I am beautiful, I am amazing. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, I actually am. I've never written these wonderful things about myself before.
Yeah. I want to ask someone, I'm not sure how to say it. Rufu, I don't, if I say it now, would it even make sense? But it's circling in my mind. Give me a second. It's to do with the shadow self.
Yeah.
You know that people say there's a positive and a negative to everything. With the shadow self, because just say, for example, someone who's say maybe jealous or wants something that someone has, that can make them, could fuel them and drive them to maybe be someone who's like a go-getter and tries to get what they want. So it's like, yeah, how am I gonna put it now? There's a lot of trying to
which would be them utilizing their shadow self.
Sorry?
That would be them utilizing their shadow self to better themselves. That would be, they would take it from more of a negative and turn it into more of a positive. As long as when they're going to get their own, they're not doing it in a way that's like, I need to get this so that I can be better than that person. They use it as a drive instead of a competition.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah, I get what you mean. I think now you're saying that what I was trying to get out is making more sense. Is making more sense. Is that kind of some of the work that you would do, or some of the work that someone would do when they're working with someone and their shadow self, as in bringing positivity to that side of them?
You could do, because if someone's working on their shadow self and then they open that information to you, like, oh, I have these jealous tendencies, and when I see something that someone's got, it makes me want to work harder to get it. I'll definitely talk them through that, and we'll go through it together. And, you know, I'd ask them what their mind is doing as they're going through that. And it's a lot of conversation, and mostly me listening and asking questions so that the client can have their own answers for themselves, because everything's within us already. It's just about unlocking it. And sometimes you have to speak it out loud for you to actually realize, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing, or oh yeah, I know the answer to this myself. But at me as the coach and asking you questions and talking you through things and allowing you to speak, they kind of work it out for themselves, because I'm not here to tell anyone how to live their lives or what to do. Do you know what I mean? But that is a great example that you use, because they would use their shadow self, the jealous side, to motivate themselves to want because then you find that the people who use, let's call it, negative energy to gain, you always find that when they've gained, they're not satisfied. And that's because they did it for the wrong reasons in the first place. But if you take that energy and use it as more, I feel this way, I'm jealous because of this person, they've got this and I want that too. But then just let it go instead of it being your everyday wake up, yeah, I'm jealous and I need to get this, or you know what I mean? Like, let it go. You've acknowledged it. Just work towards your goals and maybe turn your how into because I want better for myself, because I want nice things. And don't make your how so I can be better than anyone else, because obviously there's people out there who do benefit from using negative energy and they do benefit from being jealous, evil, and all of these things. But ultimately, how fulfilled are they? We will never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do know because you hear about the real life stories, but everyone has their own intentions and what they want things for. So yeah.
Yeah. Now that's good. It shows there's literally like a positive and negative to everything. I'm interested. I have to do some reading. I'm interested in the whole shadow self sort of thing. I think I've heard. Yeah, I've heard of shadow self, but yeah, my idea of it is completely different to you explained it.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, now you've explained that, it makes more sense. Definitely something I want to research in. What would you say is the best advice you've been given along your self-love journey?
Sorry, excuse me. The best advice. A1 advice. Best advice I've been given. This is the only thing that's coming into my head. So it must be the best advice. I might have something else, but it's to not care about what other people think.
Yeah.
Of you, number one, and of your life, because at the end of the day, it's yours. And the last thing you'd want to do is to grow old with regrets. Like, that is that's the last thing I want. And when I did care about what other people thought, it didn't serve me, because I'm what's the word? Suppressing my own desires.
Yeah.
So when you let go and you don't care about what other people think, it opens doorways for you. You can be yourself, like, authentically. What's that other advice that's been the best advice? Probably the advice about honoring your emotions.
Yeah.
Because I think when we do feel down, sad or whatever, we can make it into a thing of, I shouldn't feel like this. Like, I shouldn't. Or like, my life is so good. Why am I upset? This is not right. But it's like, nah, man. If you're sad, let it be. I feel like that's why we're human, because we're supposed to experience all the different emotions. If we was happy all the time, life would be boring, because you would never be able to go up, because it's just like you're here 24/7. Like, it's a party tomorrow, you're just happy. Like, you just won something, you're just happy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, where's the, you know, like, I think honoring your emotions, that really helped me, because then instead of saying to myself, I'm upset, I'm an idiot for being upset, I just keep going down into the upset. It's like, okay, I'm upset. Why am I upset? Let me look at it. Let me analyze it. Okay, maybe I don't even want to analyze it. Let me just be upset. I'm not going to bother anyone. I might call my friend to feel better, or I might not. I might just deal with it myself, let it pass, and then, you know, keep going.
Yeah. No, that's true. You made me laugh, because it is true. Like, your lows, it just helps you appreciate and brings more excitement to, like, your highs.
100%.
And and the thing is, the fact that we've even got those emotions, it means, obviously you don't want to dwell in it, but it means the fact we've even got those emotions, we're supposed to be able to go.
It's a superpower to be able to tap into every emotion.
Yeah.
100%. I think it's a superpower, because if you can't, I think that's where you get, what's the word? Emotional immaturity.
Yeah.
I think that's the right term I'm using. But
I don't know if it's the right term you're using, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, if I'd never experienced anger before and I get angry tomorrow, I'm going to be like, what, 25-year-old with my son getting angry tomorrow? Who knows what would happen? But because I've experienced anger, I know what it looks like, I know what it feels like. It's an emotion that I choose to not use unless it's completely necessary.
Yeah.
You know, like I have the emotional maturity to know, okay, I'm going to tap into this emotion when I feel like I need to tap into this emotion. And being able to tap into the emotion of joy, that's such a powerful emotion. You can manifest with the emotion of joy.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any other ways to tap into it? Because you've mentioned like journaling, meditating, affirmations, showing gratitude. Is there any more tips you can give to keep yourself in that happy, joyful state?
It's hard because when you say keep yourself, you just mean like keep the momentum going, not staying there, right?
Yeah. I believe, do you know what it is? I think a lot of things take practice, and you have to be consistent with things to turn it into a habit and just be able to have it kind of naturally. So if you're someone who's used to being in a negative environment or have spent a lot of time being negative and down and upset, to try and like the way how I understand the mind works, it's a programming. So it's not going to work day 1, day 2, day 3. You need to get to like day 60. Like I can't remember, is it takes maybe like 60 to 90 days to try and start building a new habit. So there's things that you have to keep doing on like a daily basis to make sure that you get to that. And then you just have to kind of continue with it because you have to make it an actual lifestyle. So obviously no one's perfect, so you're not going to be like all the time. But if you're not consistent with practicing it, you're never going to get to that stage because you're not practicing, you're not doing nothing with it. Like obviously you say if you don't use it, you lose it basically.
100%.
So yeah, so
especially if you're not naturally like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So with obviously the journaling, that's quite powerful. I do the journaling, the gratitude and manifestation, the gratitude. So I was saying, is there any other tips or even just like short 5-minute things you can just put into like your daily routine just to make sure that you can keep that joyful, happy state, because everyone's lifestyle is different.
So what I would definitely recommend is putting on either meditation music.
Yeah.
There's different hertz that you can use. So 300 or 432 hertz is the vibration of love, right? There's all different hertz that you can use, and they emit different energies. Like you can type in meditation music with positive energy, or just meditation music in general, and have that playing maybe when you start your day, maybe when you're brushing your teeth and washing your face, or when you're cleaning. Me personally, I even put on classical music because it's so, I might put on like calming classical music or soothing classical music, and I'll clean the house, and it's like, it puts me in that zen. Cleaning within itself is something that makes me feel calm and okay. Like it keeps my positive energy going. So yeah, I definitely recommend putting on some classical music or meditation music, and just doing something that you usually do, or even just sitting there and just listening to it. Just like maybe stare at the wall, or I don't know, breathe. Like if meditation is not your go-to, keep your eyes open and just be. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's another thing I'd recommend. I love putting on classical music and just painting or drawing. That's my personal preference though. Not everyone likes to paint and draw. But I don't think I'm good at it. I don't think I'm amazing. But that quiet time of focus is what makes me feel good. I don't start creating masterpieces, but it's just that release. Again, it's the release, and it's just, oh, what can I do? Okay, let me tap into another way to keep my brain feeling okay. And I play the music, and I'll just paint or draw. So yeah, definitely moving around. Like being idle can really allow that spiral to keep going.
Yeah.
Or even watching like funny videos online. And again, like I said, motivational videos, or inspiring videos. It doesn't have to be them talking about you can do it, this life is yours, like not them. It doesn't have to be like that. It can literally be TED Talks where they might talk about something you've never learned about before. There's so many different things that you can do for your individual self, because everyone's different. Just to keep yourself going. But I would highly recommend playing either meditation music or classical music, and just doing something that you might usually do. Maybe it's washing the dishes, maybe it's brushing your teeth, maybe it's tidying your room, and just letting it, you know, keep you in that zone.
And her advice is good, because I play meditation and frequency music all day. It's playing in my son's bedroom right now. Every night. I've literally been playing it this morning. I literally have a playlist of meditation music. TED Talks comes in between that, and I've got my whole playlist, so that just runs from morning till night. So definitely, I'd say, like we say, is like the pain's therapeutic for you. I find cycling. I took that up since lockdown, and I find with the cycling, for some reason, it's like, you know, when you feel gratitude. I don't know if it's because of the time that we're in, so it's like, I get to leave the house, I ride on my bike or whatever it is, but I think it's just having the fresh air and just like cycling, I just feel this sense of gratitude, and like how you feel after you've done like your affirmations and everything like that. Like I feel, you would have thought, the way I feel after, you would have thought that I've done like a ton of affirmations and done some gratitude and meditate. I don't know if, I think maybe I go into like a meditative state when I'm riding my bike. There's just a sense of freedom. Again, I don't know if it's because I started it during the pandemic. There's just a sense of freedom, and then again, just being out in nature. And I was never someone to, as nature, my dog was as nature as I got. You'd never find me out in nature or anything like that. And then a couple of years ago, I just found myself, especially in the summer, just sitting down, and normally I'd kind of like make sure I've got like a blanket or something on the grass. I was like, I'm not putting myself in the grass and stuff, and I just found I was putting myself grounding. It does. Grounding is like, then my feet would go on the grass, and eventually my hands would go on the grass, and it's like, I think it's where I kind of just started my journey some years ago, and it's like I was feeling a lot more connected to nature. I've been walking in the woods and doing all this stuff that I was like I've changed.
Oh, I love that. That's another thing I do with my son as well.
Sorry?
That's another thing I do with my son. We go for walks in the woods. Oh, so lovely.
It's good. And I think everyone's become very like towny and just stuff like that. It's like everything goes back to nature. Like we are nature as well. Everything goes back to nature. But I don't know if you know, it's in Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart. He says even sometimes when you're stressed, just to put like your hand on a tree, or some people would say actually put your feet on the grass, keeps you again grounded and stuff like that. Like all these things that I never would have done before, I find myself doing it, and it literally does make a big difference. Yeah.
Hugging a tree is nice as well.
You done that?
It's lovely.
Yeah. So the other stuff I'd be like, what? But again, it sounds just like, touching it and stuff. It does keep you grounded. Nature.
If you could see the vibration and energy going through the tree, you'd want to sit there all day.
Yeah.
Because it's so grounded. It's unbelievable. It's going through the earth.
Yeah. And I think we've kind of lost that connection just through how the world is now, sort of thing. So
and I think that's the positive side of lockdown. It's really allowed people to go within, and reconnect with nature. Because last year the parks were packed. I've never seen parks so packed in my whole time being on earth, and that's 25 years. Like the parks were packed, but I loved it. It was like, yes, community. Like, what's going on? Like, okay, they're playing music over there. We forgot our speaker, but it's fine because we're going to listen to their music, and it's just good vibes. Get your drinks out, like, you know. Oh, I love it. I can't wait for this year.
Yeah, I think after, because obviously we went to, is it second or third lockdown, then when the snow came out, everyone was out again like how they was in the summer. But it's the beautiful thing is that you're seeing families out. Really, everyone's like, that's the positive for lockdown, because people spend more time with their loved ones, people who are normally working and can't, don't have time. Like, everyone's got time for kind of the more important things, and that's being around the people that you love. So
yeah,
it's beautiful in that sense. Obviously, no one wants to be restricted, but if you can just take that little thing, just having the freedom to kind of have time with the people that you care about.
And it's like a lot of it is in the mind. If you don't feel restricted in your mind, then, you know, that within itself can set you free.
I think that's where like the meditation works very well.
100%.
With the way things are changing, the whole being able to take yourself somewhere else, you're gonna need that, because it's gonna be hard to travel. Well, we've already seen it's hard to travel and stuff, and people who are normally used to having like 5 or 6 holidays a year and stuff like that, they're not able to do that.
Yeah, I'm one of them people.
Yeah.
That's why I'm taking myself to the waterfalls in my mind.
Yeah. Well, you know, thank you. It's been lovely speaking to you.
It has. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I've learned a lot. Today. I've learned a lot today. I'm gonna check out this the shadow self. It sounds interesting. I'm gonna check that out. But again, if you want to do the self-love coaching, definitely reach out to Tanika, and also tell them about your dancing quickly as well.
Oh yeah, so I do weekly dance classes, twerking and whining on Zoom. That's every Thursday at 7 p.m. This month is on hold though, so we'll be picking it up again in April. Yeah, every Thursday, 7 p.m. starting from the first Thursday in April. And yeah, I do dance content as well. I do a couple tutorials, and I have a YouTube channel, Vibes Fitnatics, on YouTube. And yeah, that's it for now.
You've got the you've got self-love on YouTube as well. You're YouTubing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel, Tanika Briggs, which is my name, Tanika Briggs. I have some self-love videos up there, like why I started my self-love journey, 10 steps to cultivating self-love. I've got a video about shadow work and your intuition. So yeah.
Lovely, lovely. So guys, make sure you check that out. And again, thank you very much. It's been very good.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Welcome. We'll catch up. Okay?
Yes. Take care.
You too.
Bye everyone. Thank you guys.